What's going on, Shield Brothers and Shield Maidens? This is True for Shield's Rest, and today I want to start off Ooze Week with an adversary encounter build in Daggerheart. So let's get into it. Alright y'all, so it is Ooze Week, and we want to kick this off with the adversaries. Like I said, we're bringing all those in. We've got so much here for you on the channel for Ooze Week. We've got Lancer, we've got DC-20, and of course, we've got Daggerheart. So, let us know what you think of our Ooze builds as we go throughout this week, because we've got so much here for you, as well as some one-shots, so just saying, stay tuned for all that. But we've got a video for every single day this week, from the 1st to the 7th. That is Ooze Week in its entirety, so we are going to be getting after it this time. But we are starting off with the adversaries. So that's what I want to get into today, and I love oozes, and they're one of the types of adversary that people forget about. People don't always use, and I get why we don't always use them. I mean, they're very circumstantial, but sometimes you just got to bring them in. Whether it's a Halloween special or whether it's just for shits and giggles, you got to bring in the oozes every now and again. They are such a nuisance to deal with for your party, so it's a lot of fun. But that's why I wanted to create some interesting, hopefully interesting, adversaries for you guys to be able to use, and one that comes straight out of my childhood, and I think a lot of childhoods here. It's going to be essentially Ivan Ooze, okay? This is my first adversary I want to build with you guys today, is Ivan Ooze. However, we're going to use an alternate name for him as well, just to kind of bring in the actor who played him just a little bit. Paul Freeman, okay? Paul Freeman is the actor that played as Ivan Ooze in the movie Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and we kind of want to just bring that in. So whenever you hear the name Paul Freeman in any of our actual plays, you already know that we're bringing in oozes at that point. I'm just putting that bit out there, but that's why I wanted to start this off, because let's face it, we all know Ivan Ooze at this point. So what we've got here, though, is a Tier 3 leader type adversary. He's got a difficulty of 18, an attack modifier of +4, and he has an attack lightning bolt, far range 2d10 +5. Now I know this is supposed to be more of a weapon attack, and we could insert a wand of some kind, but I prefer to think of it as like his lightning hands are his go-to, you know? Like he's going to pull an Emperor Palpatine of unlimited power kind of moments, you know? Like that's what I want to see. So that's why we're bringing that into his weapon attack. In the movie, he never really used a weapon, so, you know, his hands were his weapon. That's all the man needed, you know what I mean? He's a badass. So to honor that a little bit, we're going with the lightning bolt and just leaving it at that. So now, for his major, he does have a 20 and a severe of 32. Not too bad. We wanted him to be tough, but not too terribly tough, just saying. And then his HP is 9, and his stress is 6. He also has the experience of ooze biology. We're just throwing something in there just because obviously in a more fantasy world, he's going to be more of a alchemist of some kind, so he's going to be very intentionally bringing these oozes about, so a necessary experience, right? Now for the features I wanted to bring in Relentless, parentheses 2, so that way he can have 2 basically action rolls on this one activation. So definitely wanted to bring that in because we want him to be a nuisance on the battlefield. Not so much so that he's just going to be killing the party, but we definitely want to use a lot of these features and, you know, get him moving around on the battlefield. Now, that hurts is his reaction, and this is basically whenever he takes 2 hit points, he can essentially teleport within very far range. We want him moving. Much like in the movie, he could pass through walls and stuff like that. We want him to be mobile, but on a reactionary sort of situation. So, now getting into Come To Me, My Dears is going to be his oozes. Basically, he's going to be summoning these oozes. It is an action, so we're going to spend 2 fear to make this happen, but we're going to bring in 3 purple oozes. Now, I know what you're thinking. You don't know what the purple oozes are, but I have built the purple oozes. That's why we got them in this feature. So, specifically, we're going with the purple oozes because Ivan Ooze, you know, he's the man in purple. So, 3 purple oozes. Now, for the slime armor, this is more of a passive sort of feature, and we wanted to make him more physically resistant to damage, right? So we wanted that physical resistance. And then it can go away. The players can make this happen if they're able to get severe damage on him. And then this little passive goes away, essentially breaking the little ooze armor that he's got going on here. That's really all it is, but we wanted to give him a little bit more survivability. And again, making him a nuisance on the battlefield. Now getting into the Purple Ooze. The Purple Ooze was going to be a fun one. Like, you had to bring it in. If we're bringing Ivan Ooze, we got to have the Purple Ooze, okay? So that was a necessary thing. And there's a lot of ways that we could go with this, but I think you'll like what I've got here. So we've got a Tier 2 Skulk type adversary. Difficulty 8, like almost all oozes. Oozes are really easy to hit, and they're just a pain to deal with. But they've got an attack modifier of +1, and then an appendage melee 2d10 plus 10 magic damage. They have a major of 10, severe 20, as well as 9 hit points and 4 stress points. Now getting into the features, we want to start off with Miasma Rain. This is going to be very specific to the Purple Ooze, and we wanted a feature in here that wasn't going to be damaging, but definitely going to be annoying to deal with. And so essentially what happens is you're going to mark a stress to then pick a point on the battlefield within far range. Within that point, you're going to then create this circle of close range. So everything within close range is going to suffer from this if the ooze succeeds against their difficulty. So, or rather their evasion. So the ooze then makes an attack, and everything that it succeeds against is going to then become vulnerable and must mark a stress. Now the vulnerable condition will last until the creature leaves the area. Okay, so it's going to be predicated on that particular point in that close range. Once they leave, then they're no longer considered vulnerable. We also want to bring in Arcane Form. This is basically going to give the ooze resistance against magic damage. That's really all this is. We're just trying to make them a little bit more resistant to any magical attacks that could come through on this creature. And just to further belabor the point, we're going to go ahead and bring in the feature of Consume, and this is a reaction. This allows the Purple Ooze to take magic damage, but mark a stress to instead take no damage at all. Now for our last ooze, it feels like we have to bring in the Black Ooze. You know, we've had red, we've had green, we've now had purple. Here we are finishing it off with the Black Ooze. Alright, so this is going to be your Tier 2 Skulk type adversary with a 9 for its difficulty, a +2 to its attack modifier, and an appendage melee 1d8 plus 2 physical damage. It's going to have a major of 15, a severe of 26, 6 hit points, and 2 stress. Now getting into its features, we wanted to go with the typical reaction of Split for all these oozes, except for the Purple Ooze, mind you. That was the only one that did not come with that. That's not one that I wanted to build into the Purple Ooze, but I did want to build it into this Black Ooze. It felt necessary, just felt like the sort of thing that this Black Ooze would do, you know, just get into the tiny Black Ooze, you know what I mean? So we definitely wanted that. That's very typical of any of the other Daggerheart Oozes. Now getting into acidic form, we wanted to bring this over from the Green Oozes feature list because, let's face it, acidic form is really good. I mean, whenever you get a successful attack as the Ooze, you're forcing the player to then mark an armor slot and gain none of the benefit. I love that. That is going to eat through your player's armor slots like nothing else. So, had to bring that in with the Black Ooze. Alright, for the last feature for this Black Ooze, we're going to be getting into dissolving pseudopods, which is going to require 2 fear. Trust me, it's worth it. So when you make an attack at very close range, on a success, the target takes 2d6 plus 3 magic damage, as well as must mark an armor slot, much like acidic form, alright? We're bringing that bit in here, okay? And then, they also have to mark a stress slot. So it's going to be a bit of a big one, but I mean, you are spending an extra 2 fear to do this, so we wanted to make it a little bit more worthwhile, but that's what we wanted to bring in for the feature list. We thought that was kind of fun, you know. Gotta love the Black Ooze, though. You cannot go wrong with it. But we want to bring in and touch on really quickly the tiny Black Ooze. So when it splits, you know what it's splitting into, okay? So this is going to be a Tier 2 Skulk type adversary. It's going to have a 12 for its difficulty, a +0 for its attack modifier, and an appendage melee attack 1d6 plus 1 physical damage. It's also going to have a major of 10 and a severe of nothing, so just saying. Pretty much anything over 10 is going to bring this sucker down because you only have 3 hit points and 1 stress. The only feature it has is acidic form. That's it. But y'all, that is it for our Daggerheart adversary build today with oozes. Hope you guys liked it. We will be getting into the environment next, and then we'll also have a Daggerheart One Shot involving these particular adversaries and environment. So, look for that, but we also are going to have a Lancer Ooze themed video where that is going to be a one-shot. We've also got DC 20 Ooze themed videos coming up, as well as a one-shot for that one to be able to utilize those particular oozes as well. Cannot go wrong with that. We are very excited for that one because that's going to be us playing as oozes, killing these freaking heroes, okay? Just But I hope you guys enjoy Ooze Week as much as we are. There are so many content creators that are joining in on Ooze Week. So check out those other guys. We've got a whole playlist attached that is the master playlist for Ooze Week. So go ahead and check that out. Don't miss a single one of those, especially if you like oozes. No matter what tabletop RPG you are into, there is going to be all sorts of content creators in that particular playlist. So check that out. But until the next one, keep that shield wall strong.